Commerce Alive Today presents
Mars Supermarket. The idea for Mars Supermarkets came in the early 1940s from Joseph D'Anna, whose location for his upstart grocery store was an apartment complex in Essex, Maryland, called Mars Estates. Nearby, Glenn L. Martin was developing an airplane called the Mars Flying Boat that could take off and land in water, so Mars seemed a perfectly logical name to instill local pride and recognition. His first store opened on Old Eastern Avenue in 1943. It was operated for 3 years in a partnership with friend Bob Baum. They decided to open a second location in the 300 block of Eastern Avenue as more joined the team. The company decided to relocate to the south in Dundalk, Maryland, where they purchased a strip center with 7 shopfronts to expand their business, closing the Essex locations. Soon after the move, Donna's 2 younger brothers, Angelo and Carmen, who had returned recently from World War II, decided to help expand the business. Joe sold them his interest in the business, giving 50% to each brother. Mars started at that time, even though the name pre-existed the partnership. As business increased, the store was enlarged several times until it occupied most of the space on the southeast corner of Holabird and Delvale Avenues. A second store was needed, so Angelo and Carmen opened the Gray Manor store on Old North Point Road in 1954, followed 4 years later by the Middle River store on Eastern Avenue. The company continued to grow due to the very positive response to their marketing approach. With the help of Morris Dinkin, the company purchased the Vesper family property on the opposite side of Holabird Avenue. With the on-site direction of Carmen and Angelo, they constructed what many considered the most modern supermarket in the state of Maryland. Anthony D'Anna, the youngest brother, came to work for Angelo and Carmen in 1949. Initially, he was a grocery and produce clerk, and later managed the store until he moved to a position in the office in 1963. He became vice president and senior grocery buyer. After the company incorporated, Vincenzo F. D'Anna, their father, was elected to the board of directors as chairman. In 1955, Anthony was made a partner and owner in the business. After leaving the grocery business, Joe took over the operation of a restaurant from another younger brother, Vince D'Anna. Vince would later join the supermarket business, managing the new store on Eastern Avenue and buying produce for all the stores. Carmen brought Peter, the oldest brother, on board as the company's produce buyer and supervisor. In 1967, the Middle River store was damaged in a fire and the brothers took this opportunity to completely remodel it, again with the help of Morris Dinkin and the added assistance of American Refrigeration. Over the next 26 years, Angelo and Carmen opened 10 more stores. These included Vincenzo's Produce Market and the Light Street Bakery at Harbor Place, which have since closed. The Old North Point Road store also closed, having been replaced by the Mars at Lynch Manor on Weis Avenue. In January 1995, Angelo N. D'Anna died after serving as the company's president for 50 years. Carmen, who became president at that time, opened 3 stores in Glen Burnie, Woodlawn, and Edgewood. After 50 years as the company's executive vice president and 3 years as president, Carmen V. D'Anna, Sr. died in August 1997. Carmen's eldest son, Vito, became president at that time. In the 19 years preceding his appointment to president, Vito worked his way up from bagger to store manager and eventually to vice president of operations. Supported by their own buying staff, Mars purchased produce and seafood daily from local markets and always included local produce, when available, from Maryland growers. Offering many national brands at private label prices, Mars maintains a limited line of their own private label goods. Mars was serviced by its own 300,000 square foot distribution center in Baltimore, supplying the stores with dry groceries, meats, deli/dairy, frozen and produce until March 2014 when Mars Supermarkets closed the distribution center and began to liquidate its assets including several of its own privately maintained fleet of tractor trailers. As a result, 78 workers lost their jobs. Instead, the company decided to stock stores direct from manufacturers with available transport and receive all other products from one of Bozzuto's Incorporated's distribution center outside of Hartford, Connecticut. In May 2016, Mars announced that all 13 stores would close by July 31, 2016, with 5 locations being acquired by Weis Markets. The company stated that they have struggled with declining sales for several years. Mars tried to fill the remaining 8 locations with other retailers.
If you have any fond memories, please indicate it at the comments below. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and like.